What is up, YouTube? It is Drex and I am back with another collection video. So let's get started on the PlayStation 2 collection of all the games that I accumulated so far over the years. Some of these are games I had since I was a kid, and a lot of these are games I just bought over time, recently, not long ago, and some I punted. So yeah, let's get started. So first off, we got the Mega Man X collection right here. I got this from GameStop a long time ago. You can tell by the conditioning of it. It took a while to get those damn ugly stickers off of that. So I still hate those yellow stickers now, but got it in a complete case. Can't complain. Wish I could get a better. I might, overall over time, I might try and get replacement cases, good replacement cases that are for cheap for a lot of these games. It's very inexpensive. The only ones I think that are the most expensive is probably the Sega CD and Sega Saturn collectors cases, whatever the hell you call them, replacement cases. So we got Red Dead Revolver, pretty awesome game, paved way for the Red Dead Redemption series. Got that from half price, obviously. Got another one from half price, Grand Theft Auto 3, the best version of Grand Theft Auto in the PC port. I'll probably say the very first launches of those. So, can't go wrong with those. We got Champions, Return to Arms. Pretty badass game that Midway worked on. Remember it was an online game. I think it was one of the last few games that Midway had worked on. Actually, it says Snowblind Studios, but Midway had worked on the game. So, next up we got the Simpsons game, and this one is going for a lot of money now on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox. Well, it's not that much, but probably about $50–$60, but still I think that's kind of a lot depending on how much of a budget you're on. So next up we have one of the most awesome Spider-Man games ever. So definitely love the first Spider-Man movie and love that game a lot. This one right here, I'm shocked it's not really popular. I mean, I remember it came and went when I was in middle school. I thought it was kind of cool that, Talib Kweli, one of my favorite rappers, voiced Train in the game. And it was kind of cool, like, learning a little bit more about graffiti culture and stuff. And I like the design of the cases and stuff. So I thought it was a pretty cool game. It had a nice soundtrack, stuff like from James Addiction, Notorious B.I.G. or Biggie. And a few other artists. Thought it was pretty awesome. Mobb Deep was definitely on that, man. I used to love starting that game up, and they played Survival of the Fittest by Mobb Deep. That was my shit. So next up we have Warriors, actually one of my number one favorite movies ever. So I own this game on multiple platforms. I actually own it on the PSP and Xbox as well. I personally like to play in the Xbox version a little more than the PSPs. Not PSP, but the PS2s. So I like to alternate. I like them all. So I actually ended up buying that on the PlayStation Store again. So over next we have Simpsons Hit and Run. Obviously on this on Xbox. I was streaming it on Xbox, but I actually beat it on my PS2. So I never 100%ed the game, but I beat it several times. So I do just want to, I do want to try and get 100% on it. So hopefully I'll go back and do all the stunts. And I mean, all the seaside missions and stunts and stuff. I'm just going to mesh these together. This is when, I don't care what anyone say, after Home Court and NBA Ballers 3 on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, we haven't had any good NBA games afterwards, including Street. I'm not even a big sports fan. Well, actually, fuck it, I take it back. I'm a bigger sports fan than I was back then. But I love these games a lot. These are like for casual players to enjoy and have very awesome soundtracks and stuff. So it's kind of sad going back and playing these because now most of those were raw. It was a long time ago, knowing that I'm getting old, and Kobe Bryant was in those games, and that makes me even more sad sometimes. Next up we got I think this is actually a damn good Spawn game. Next to the one on Super Nintendo, but Spawn Armageddon, got this in the collection. I'm actually proud. If anybody ever played the second Soul Calibur on Xbox, you could unlock Spawn in that. I think it might have been on the PS2 version. I know on the GameCube version, Link was an unlockable character, but that, the thing about Soul Calibur 3, you had to buy that game on all three platforms to enjoy different sides, because it was like exclusivity on all three different games, all three different versions of that game. So next up we got Mega Man Command Mission. This is when big shout out to Capcom for re-releasing the Battle Network games on the Switch, by the way. But this is one of the fewer Mega Man RPGs, and this is when they started with the Mega Man X series, so I thought it was pretty cool. Next up, man, this kind of makes me sad because I know I probably won't ever play this again. But like, again, this is probably the very first few launches of Grand Theft Auto Vice City was probably the best, because they didn't get rid of Michael Jackson music, and the Michael Jackson music is still there. And God bless his soul, Ray Liotta passed, who voiced Tommy Vercetti. That makes me 10 times more sad knowing playing this, because like now if I ever play this and I hear Davy Crockett's theme by Miami Vice, if I'm like going through Flash FM on the radio, it's gonna make me even more sad. But shout out to Ray Liotta and his family. Shout out for releasing this masterpiece. And this is when Rockstar was, they were in their prime. They were in their prime for 2 decades straight. Jesus. Next up, we have an underrated Konami title over here called Nano Breaker. I don't know why this game is like pure, like I don't know how it got so underrated, but like it's an awesome hack and slash game. I guess it paved way for a lot of other titles. We have hack and slash titles in the future, but yeah, the guy who even on the back of the case it says the guy who produced Castlevania made these. So yeah, we even went on to make other Castlevania titles before Konami went to the shitter. Next up, we have Enter the Matrix. If you've watched my shitty video games I actually like, 10 video, I think it was the last one I did sometime like almost a year ago. I actually have this game on the list, Enter the Matrix. It's not a great game, neither is Path to Neo, but if you're a Matrix fan and you can stomach shitty games, then this is a great one to play. So that's why I have it on up here, and that's why I still love this game. I got Path to Neo, but I got it on my OG Xbox. So when I get some time to do my OG Xbox collection, you guys will see that next. PlayStation 2 was obviously one of my favorite consoles. I think I loved it more than the PlayStation 1 at the time, so that's why I have a lot more PS2 games than anything in this collection. PS2 and PS3, because those were my favorite consoles of all. Of course, we got OG Kingdom Hearts. Not much to really say on this, so we're just gonna run through that quickly. You can also replay those. We got Rechain of Memories. That's basically the PS2 port of the Game Boy. Well, it doesn't play like the Game Boy. The physics are like Game Boy Advance with the cart system, but at the same time, it's not. It's a totally different game. Sorry to keep rambling on. Next up, I have Toy Story 3. Now, this is still sealed. My brother-in-law gave this to me because I guess he had bought a PlayStation 2 that came with this a while back. So he just said, I'm not gonna play it. So here. You can play whenever you want to, so maybe I might get some time. I still think the greatest Toy Story game ever, though, and it's always going to be the Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue, Toy Story 2 Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue. And I personally like the Nintendo 64 port of that game, even though it's the lowest quality of them all. If you want a higher quality version of that game, get on PlayStation 1 or Dreamcast. You can also get it on it's on the PSN network too, so you can play it now. I think it's like $5.99 or $9.99. So yeah, check it out. We got Spider-Man 2, one of the greatest Spider-Man games of them all, but don't tell that to no Sony ponies. Even though I'm a Sony guy, but call me a Sony pony, call me where you want, I don't care. Oh man, Tenchu, and this is when Sega took over as the freaking publisher. Oh, and look who is the developer behind it. From Software. This is pre-Dark Souls, and this game is tough, like any Tenchu game ever. This is way before. I guess it's like after Activision and had lost the rights to it. So yeah, it's not as good as the first two Tenchu games on PS1, but it's a very good game to play. So yeah, that's why I got it in my collection. I like to play it sometime. Pre-Sekiro as well. Next up, we got Bujingai, the Forsaken City. Now, a lot of people will say this is like they'll say that it's like a Devil May Cry ripoff hack and slash, but I think it's more to it than that. It had its own story and it had its own, it was just amazing. It was an amazing game to play, and come to find out later on, I realized that this game you're playing as the guy is motion captured after the popular J-pop artist or J-rock artist out in Japan. His name is Gak. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But yeah, very awesome game to play. Very hack and slash. So yeah, you can go on Google Images. Sorry if it's kind of shiny, and pull up a picture of Gak. You're gonna see that he obviously resembles him. So next up we got Killer 7. I didn't know what the fuck this game was. I remember getting it from Sam Goody like back in when it came out. This is like around the time Sam Goody was getting ready to go under. So this is one. Actually, both of these games I'm about to show in a minute. But Killer 7 was one of them, and a very awesome game to play. I never got rid of it because I never could play it worth the shit as I got, when I was younger. But when I first got older, I actually liked playing it a little bit more. And I like the protagonist in the game. You play as 7 different assassins, and the control. I think the reason why I didn't like it because the controls were a lot weird, like when it came to walking and stuff and doing, responding to actions and stuff. But pretty good game to play. Obviously, Suda51 is a fucking beast. So, yep. Another one of those Suda51 games, man. I can never get tired of Suda51. Next up, we got Samurai Western. Now, I don't know why this game is almost going for like $200, but like I remember seeing it at Sam Goody for like $20, so I just bought it. And like, what's even more cool about this game is that the story is generic, but like this is like one of the first few PS2 games that had the reversible case. So the guy you play as in the game, that's him, and the guy that's up holding the gun is his brother. The guy comes from Japan to avenge his family. I guess the brother had did something evil in Japan, and he's there to stop his brother. I can't remember the exact plot because I know the game is very repetitive, but it's fun after a while if you play it enough. But very good story. Gojiro Kiryu, bringing justice back to the Old West. Yeah. I can't remember the exact story, but I know like traditionally the game is voiced by Japanese voice actors. Like it's times in the games where they speak Japanese, and it's times where they talk in English, which is pretty cool. So yeah, pretty cool game. So, I thought it was pretty diverse for what it was. Next up, we got Way of the Samurai, another game by BAM. I think this one's going up in value a lot. But when I was playing through Ghost of Tsushima, I really learned where Sucker Punch got their influence from, and I think a lot of it came from games like this and Blood Will Tell. And God, I don't think I'll ever get my hands on Blood Will Tell. God, but speaking of Blood Will Tell, you'll see that soon in the collection. But moving forward, we got another game I got from EB Games. Actually, I got it for $6.99. Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. This is another good game too, but the controls are pretty weird. You're going to be using right analog sticks a lot for certain objectives, but yeah, pretty cool game to play. If you're a big fan of the Ghost of the Shell anime series, you should definitely get at it. Go. So we're gonna move over here a little bit because we're going down. If you haven't, well, shit, it's too late. I actually got this for like $2, like almost 7 years ago. But this is pre-Kingdom Hearts. You can tell Sion is, by his outfit, that was like the inspiration for Sora. Look at that. They got a lot of the voice actors from Rurouni Kenshin in this, and this is pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. The only thing I hate about this though is that now it's up there in price. I think it's like $50 now. So if you can get it, go ahead. Hopefully on the new PlayStation, the whole new the PlayStation service, they eventually roll it out. So we ain't gonna waste no time mentioning all this. So we're gonna put all these together. We got the Jack and Daxter series 1 through 3. I actually got the PSP game. Shout out to Brosep because he sold it to me in a bundle. But got that, so nothing crazy. Jet Li Rise to Honor. This was a Sony exclusive. I don't know how much it's going for now, but this is definitely another awesome game to play. You're going to be using the right analog stick a lot in this, and it's going to get confusing at times, but if you got the time to stomach it, and I remember playing it with some friends a while back, like back in my early high school years, like around 2007, we just, we really enjoyed it. We watched it, I think the language is in Cantonese or Mandarin, and it was pretty nice watching it. It was it was nice watching the cinematic. It It was nice watching the cutscenes. It was nice playing through the game, and it was like a Jet Li movie all in one. So very enjoyable to play. I recommend playing it if you can get your hands on it, or modding it, however you want to do it. Nothing special here. Tekken 4, one of the greatest Tekkens. The only complaint is that they took out Eddie Gordo in this, and then they took him out of 5 as well. But I like having. I like Tekken 4 a lot, and I like mostly playing it on the arcades the most. Like after Tag Tournament. Oh shit, that fell. So, since you want to make your introduction, we got Tony Hawk's Underground, another damn good Tony Hawk game after the Pro Skater series. After the Pro Skater series graduated, we got on the Underground. I think the last Tony Hawk game I actually enjoyed was before the remakes of 1 and 2 was Project 8, I believe. I had that on 360 for a minute, but I didn't really play it too long because I wasn't too crazy about it, but I thought it was pretty cool. We got Haven, Call of the King. This is a very underrated title too. I actually kind of laugh at it because, like, now I think about it, like the guy kind of looks like Post Malone before Post Malone cut his cut off his braids and stuff, his cornrows, and put all those damn tattoos on his face and stuff. But I kind of made a joke with a friend when we was playing this like 6, 7, 8 years ago. He was like, "Man, this guy looks like Post Malone." But it's outside of it all, it's a really good title to play. It's by Midway. The Midway was dropping gems around this time, and that was a good one. It kind of reminds me of Crash Bandicoot in some way. So, moving it over a little bit. Next up, we got the Shadow of the Colossus. Now, I was not crazy about this game when it first came out, but when I was dating my ex, like before we started dating, we were friends, we talked about this game a lot, and I remember we spent a lot of time playing this game. It was pretty fun. I hope my wife doesn't kill me for saying that. We just had a lot of fun playing this game, and I never beat it when I was with her, but I think years later on when I got my hands on this, and I took time to sit down and play it, I really enjoyed it a lot. And if you see one of my videos, the most hardest bosses I ever fought, most hardest bosses ever, I have the last boss on the list. So definitely check that video out if you haven't. So Shadow Colossus. If you are into games like that, Eco and Last Guardian, definitely check out Shadow Colossus. I'm pretty sure you did though. So, etc., etc. Next up, we got The Incredibles. Now, let me move the camera over a little bit. Oh no, my ring light fell. Technical difficulties. Over here we have The Incredibles. Now, like I said, I still play Disney movie based games and stuff. No shame in my game. I remember this one being pretty difficult. It wasn't Dark Souls difficult, but it was pretty fucking difficult, man. And like going back and playing it, I thought it was just me as a kid, like being a noob and not understanding the controls. But like, man, like this game is pretty tough. So I remember actually beating it when I was a kid, and I ended up giving it to a friend, and then never heard. I think he probably sold it or did something with it. God knows the hell happened to it, but I ended up buying it back. So it was pretty inexpensive though. So up next we have Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, one of the greatest Mortal Kombat spin-offs ever. This is where Midway perfected it. And the sad thing about it, now that WB Games owns them, I don't think Ed Boon will ever propose this. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's been proposed several fucking times over there at WB, but it ain't happening. NetherRealm Studio, but it ain't fucking happening. I don't think it's ever happening, but they do it. I hope they do it. Co-op and online co-op, of course. And if I'm okay with them making it Dark Souls hard, I shit you not, I would play through that shit. So I'm down for it if they ever decide to do it. Over here, I found this one day when I just went game hunting with a friend. I got it like 2 years ago. I have Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I bought this game several times, so this is one of the games I own on Xbox. I own it on PC. I like playing it on PC the most, though. But where I first started, it was on PlayStation 2. So I got this special edition of the game. It comes with the DVDs, and I guess it shows how. It's like serves as a prequel to the story of the game, prior to the game starting, and Carl's mom getting killed. So, yeah. Oh, jeez, more shit falling. Up next, we got Final Fantasy 12. Definitely not one of my favorites of the series, but it was something enjoyable to play with the steampunk themes and stuff. I thought it was pretty cool right after Final Fantasy X. So definitely check it out if you haven't. You can definitely get on the Xbox Store. You can get on the Nintendo eShop. It's pretty much not difficult to get that game nowadays. So speaking of Final Fantasy, we got Dirge of Cerberus. Apparently this one is getting up there in value now. Ironically, my friend didn't really like playing through OG Final Fantasy VII like that, but he liked playing through Dirge of Cerberus the most, and Vincent ironically ended up becoming his favorite character. So yeah, damn shame that a lot of these guys who voice these characters won't come back. This is the cast from Advent Children, it looks like. Voice cast, so yeah. Avalanche, thought it was pretty awesome. I like it. I liked it a lot, and I like the GAC. Ironically speaking of GAC, I like the GAC music they had in the back. So we got Death by Degrees. This is a game where you play as Nina. The controls are weird in this too, but it was the game deserved more recognition for what it was, because the Namco really tried to get outside of the box with, do Spinoza Tekken games. So I give them props for this one. I like it. It's not a bad game, but it's not neither that good neither. So next up we got the Resident Evil Essentials Collection. I own 4 several times. I own it on the Switch and I own it on PS2. I want to get the Wii port. I might not do that, and obviously I'm going to be being one of those consumers that's going to get the remake as well. But we also have Code Veronica X. I got Code Veronica on my Dreamcast, and I have it on my PlayStation from the PlayStation Store. I've been playing it on and off on my PS5 lately. So only one I wanted was Outbreak in his collection. Shout out to BattleBox. He sold this to me, so I don't know if I'm gonna even open this up, man. I don't want to open it, honest to God, but I might have to. If I got Outbreak on my modded PS2 on a hard drive, but man, I don't know if I'm gonna do it. It's just nice having a collection. Y'all can judge me and say, "Oh, you just hoarding games." Yeah, shut the fuck up. I'm not hoarding games. It's certain games that mean a lot to me in my collection, and I just have them there. And that doesn't mean I don't play them. Don't start that shit with me. I mean, hell, at least I'm not out here begging and e-begging people for money for games. This is just me sharing my hobby. It's a fucking hobby. So next up we got Ghost Hunter. Very good game to play. It was kind of mid, but it's going up there in price too. So fortunately for me, I got it for a fair price off of a seller on eBay. So yeah, happy to have it in my collection. A very nice game to play. I remember renting it a long time ago, and I got like halfway through it, but I never finished it. So hopefully I can finish it now. Shoot, I guess I'll just bring these two closer since I got all of them together. Next up, we got the Mortal Kombat collection. I actually got this from a couple who was trying to sell it to a vendor at Midwest Gaming Classic a month or two back. So I ended up getting that. I got Shaolin Monks in the collection, obviously. I got Deception, and I have Armageddon on Xbox. But I said, why not? I want to have it in it, so sue me. Over here, we got the Rocky game. I think the GameCube port of this game honestly was the best version of this game, but nevertheless, it's still enjoyable to play. Rocky, I grew up with the Rocky series, and I like them all, including 5, even though 5 was the shittiest one. And Sylvester Stallone went on record to say he doesn't even like it, but I like it a lot. It's nostalgia for me, and I like playing through the series. So yeah, I actually beat that whole game several times in one day. But we got Psyops, the Mind Grade Conspiracy, another underrated midway title. This was heavily overshadowed by Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and Half-Life 2. This game deserved just as much props as that one did. And up next, we got Crimson Tears. This one is getting up there in value, but glad I have it in my collection. It was a pretty awesome game to play. It got a lot of RPG elements in it, but it's really like a more of an action adventure kind of game, and it's kind of cool. So if you're like into female protagonist games with them wearing sexy outfits and strong female leads, I think it's a pretty cool game to play. So next up we got Jackass. It's also kind of like an anime game. Sorry to go off. But next up we got the Jackass game. pretty enjoyable game to play. I remember I never owned this on PS2 as a kid when I was younger. I only had it on PSP, and somehow that PSP got stolen with that game in it. Well, so yeah, pretty fun game to play. I think I like the PS2 version a little more because I can see it up close a little bit more clearly than the PSP port of the game. So yeah. So now we go into the back because we got more games. Lord knows that this video is probably going over 20 minutes. Oh, yeah, we're 25 minutes in. So we got a long way to go. We'll get through it fast. We'll get through it fast. Don't worry. So we're going to start from the left over here. We're going to put these two together. We got Gungrave 1 and 2. Or should we say Gungrave Overdose? Gungrave was a masterpiece within itself, man. And especially, and I love how the anime followed the game very well. Overdose is a great game too, but that's when Sega was no longer doing the publishing for it. So unfortunately, this one wasn't as good, but it's still enjoyable. I like it a lot. Playing through OG Gungrave though, it was like playing a mature rated version of Jet Set Radio Future with the art style and stuff, cartoony graphics. But you wasn't really skating and stuff. You was using guns. It was like pretty wacky. It was serious. It was fun. Kind of like the Yakuza games. So I like it a lot. Of course, we got Resident Evil 4. Like I said before. So got greatest hits game. Because obviously that game sold out so fucking much. That's why we're getting a remake. A well-deserved remake. Not. Code Veronica needs to get remade first. And the Outbreak series. And speaking of Outbreak, we have Outbreak File 2. I don't have this one complete, unfortunately. I don't have the the manual for it, but yeah, pretty awesome game to have. I don't get why the Outbreak series didn't really sell like it should have, but like I know Outbreak 1 was a lot more better than 2, apparently, to quote-unquote game journalists. But I like the climax of Outbreak File 2 as well, so that's when, like, I think that's why I always say that the OG Resident Evil games were probably the best. Even though they had fixed camera angles and stuff, they will always remain the best in the series. So we got Yakuza 1 and 2. They both are sealed, and I stand firm on not ever opening these because I love them so much. Since I already have Kiwami 1 and 2, I'm not going to open these, so there's no need to play them and go through them again. So yeah, plus I like the way Kiwami remade them, so I love the Yakuza series a lot. It's just hard as hell. If I could have the time to go back and platinum them, I would. But you know, I just like they're casual. They're games I like playing casually, to be honest, and I'm okay with that. No shame in my game. I don't have to be hardcore with Yakuza. Same with Judgment. So up next we got Beautiful Joe 1 and 2, which I'm shocked never got re-released. I'm so shockingly surprised. Beautiful Joe 2 is like getting up there in value, and I don't know why that one was like the most popular. But I know that was like the one where you get to play as his girlfriend in that one. So very cool game. I remember that came. We had a lot of good games that came out in 2003. And like I feel like that year does not get talked about a lot because we had Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, and oh man, I can't wait to go over my Xbox OG Xbox game collection because you're gonna be seeing a lot of games that were like killer hits in like the early 2000s. Next up, we got Maximo, Ghost to Glory. This is basically like fucking Ghosts and Goblins. It has the same mechanics. Not too crazy about it, but it's a nice game to play. I know there was a sequel to it, but I never really played through that. Up next, we got Crash Wrath of Cortex. This is when Konami got their hands on this, and Universal was still developing. I think Konami did the publishing for it. So, yeah, bye bye Naughty Dog. You know, that was Crash 3. Warped was the last one. So a lot of people didn't like this one, but I personally like this one a lot too. I think the Xbox version is pretty cool too, because like they actually have enhanced graphics and they try and show Crash with with fur kind of spiked out and stuff. But awesome game. I like playing on PS2 more. I just hate the loading screens because it's fucking ear rape. I hate that fucking loading screen. But everything else is great. It's a little bit more challenging, of course, but it's awesome to play. It's when they introduced I can't think of the guy's name. Hopefully in the back of the case they can tell me his name. I can't remember because I only beat this game one time, but they introduced the new villain that Dr. Cortex had created, and he ended up coming out to be Coco and Crash's brother. With the later games they launched before they went ahead and stayed on point and rebooted it with Activision when Activision got right. So yeah. Sphinx, the Cursed Mummy. You can actually get this on the Nintendo eShop, and I think you can get it on the PlayStation Store and the Xbox Store as well. Very good platformer game, based in Egypt. So I like it a lot. So have it in there, have it in my collection. Criminally underrated title. Now I'm not a big racing fan, and this is actually one of the last few racing games I enjoyed. Rockstar could never do this again, I don't think. There were so many licenses in this game, and I'm not just talking about music, but the dub license. They had Cadillacs in this game. There was Eclipse. It was all kinds of shit in this game, and it was so awesome playing it online, even though them servers were slow as fuck. But Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition, it replicated nothing but greatness. That's why they tried to do it again later on with the other Midnight Club on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, but that didn't reach like this. This was the prime. They should have stopped afterwards with this one. Next up, we got Dark Watch, another criminally underrated game. I don't know why this game didn't get as much praise. I remember it was advertised like crazy because I used to watch a lot of MTV late at night during the time this got released. And I don't know why, it just didn't really blow up like it should have blown up. But yeah, very amazing game. That's probably because Halo 2 and Half-Life 2 and San Andreas was still kicking ass. But yeah, look at so many people who was working on this. RenderWare, Havoc, we had Capcom. Very sick game to play. It was like a horror western. How the hell could you make horror into a western? That's art right there. That's true art. It kind of gives me Rob Zombie kind of vibes when you watch his movies. It's not gritty and dark, super dark like that. But actually it is dark, but it's not horror. It's a horror based game, but it's not specifically horror. It's like action adventure. Slaying the monsters kind of game. So actually, we're gonna put these two together. We got the Getaway 1 and 2, Getaway to Black Monday. The first Getaway game is probably the best one because the story-wise, I think the mechanics though in Black Monday were a lot better. But even though the controls are I don't think no one could play through these games now because how they operate. I'm talking about someone who's probably into more modern games than newer shit because. Yeah, these, it's rough to play these sometimes, going back and playing them, but I love them for what they are. But the Getaway one has the best story. You're into British crime movies and stuff, and crime novels and stuff. That's a damn good series to check out. I'm shocked that Sony hasn't really moved forward with that. Sony is good at pushing all these exclusive games out the ass. But man, they do not. They know how to leave their art. I guess that's kind of a good thing. Now that I think about it, it's kind of a good thing that they let those titles die out and not continue to push stuff outside of it. Besides God of War, Ratchet and Clank at this point, because we probably would have got tired of these games after a while. Let's just keep it real. So sorry, I'm having these side conversations with myself. I just like doing these videos. It's kind of like me blogging and showing off my collection all at once. So. Up next, we got Kim Possible. What's the sitch? Or what's the switch? I know she always said, what's the sitch? But yeah, I guess the game, you can do tag team multiplayer where you play as both Shigo and Kim. And the goal is I guess, Dr. Draken and Ron will swap bodies in the game. So the goal is to get their bodies swapped back. So you have to team up with Shigo in it. So it's pretty cool. Next, we have the Godfather game, limited edition. This is the very first version of the game I had. I ended up buying it back on eBay because I actually wanted it back. And I wanted to actually go back and beat it. I'm midway through it, but I want to play through it some more. I didn't like the Godfather Part 2 like that when I had it on 360 a while back, so I'm not crazy about it. So I'm just okay with having this one in the collection. As I got older, I really started not liking movie-based games like that. I think the last one I enjoyed was this one and the Scarface game and that Wolverine X-Men Origins Wolverine game afterwards. And that's when video game companies realize we need to stop doing this shit. But yeah, Godfather Part 2 wasn't all that good, but this one was pretty damn great. Comes with a poster and stuff in it. So, I'm a big fan of the Godfather movie. I think the Godfather Part Movie 2 was the best outside of the Godfather 2 game, but yeah. Up next, we got Bully. I obviously own this on PC, and I own it on 360. Now I have it on PS2, so happy to have it in my collection. This is actually one of the games I bought myself when I had my graduation money when I graduated from middle school. Very awesome game to play. So I have an imported game here, and actually, since I already have this here, I might as well just pull this one out if I can. If I can do it. Sorry, I'm tipping the camera. This is hard as hell recording this. I'm just going to put these all together. Put these two together. We have Lupin the Third, the Treasure of the Sorcerer King. And Lupin the Third, I don't know what the hell it translates to, but I know it's a direct sequel to this game. And it was only released exclusively in Japan back in 2007. Because I remember seeing the trailer for this game on the Lupin the Third MySpace page. And I was mad as hell that we wasn't getting it on it wasn't coming to America, but very awesome game to play. I love the Lupin the Third anime series. I'm just not watching it in Japanese now. Started back in 2014 watching it in Japanese, but I still like the English dub, that Pioneer dub when they came over. I think it was Tony Scott. Might be saying his name wrong, but I know Richard Dreyfuss is the voice of Jigen and stuff. So I actually like that voice cast the most, and I love the Fujiko Mine OVA. So yeah, pretty awesome games to play. It's difficult kind of playing this sometimes because, like I said several times before, the action button in Japan is the circle button, and the circle button, the cross button over on the Japanese games is basically operates like the circle button in Japan. So yeah, basically circle button is the action button, and cross button is basically, the back button, which is weird as fuck. Kingdom Hearts 2, nothing too crazy about that. All my games are falling, oh no! Nothing too special about this one. Capcom vs. SNK 2, Mark of the Millennium. Got that on my arcade, love playing that on my arcade. We got Dragon Ball Z Budokai 1, one of my favorite ones of the series. I'm not too crazy about Budokai 2, so that's why I don't have it in my collection. I didn't like the board game process and stuff. I mean, I unlocked everything on it, but I just wasn't crazy about getting it back in my collection. So, yeah, that's why I think they did the HD. When they did the HD collection of Budokai, they just did 1 and 3 because those were the best ones. So we got the Onimusha series, Onimusha 3, and 1, 2, and 3 right here. So obviously the third one is the best one because they got the guy who plays in those Luc Besson movies over in France. I can't think of his name, but he played in a lot of great movies. His name is one of his most popular ones is Leon, where he played an assassin, and he actually was taking care of Natalie Portman's character in that game. And yeah, pretty good movie. I'm not gonna spoil it, but yeah. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. This is one of my first PlayStation 2 games I enjoyed, so definitely got on the list. Killer soundtrack. I unlocked everything, including Wolverine and Spider-Man, so definitely one of my go-to games. A lot of people like Pro Skater 4. I think Pro Skater 3 set the market for the greatest ones ever. I hope that one gets remade. So we got God of War 1 and 2. Obviously the greatest ones of the series. Up to 3. Even though 3 was a little easier for me, but God of War 1 and 2 made me want to pull my hair out. Now, I don't regret it. I love playing those. I actually want to stream those soon. Up next, we got Manhunt 1 and 2. Awesome games to have in the collection, even despite the controversy that surrounded those. Next up, we have 007 Agent Under Fire. Shout out to TK9. If you watching this, he loves Nightfire. He claims Nightfire is the best one. Nah, Agent Under Fire is the best. It was one of the first games I got with my PS2, and I enjoyed it so fucking much. So this is when EA was doing making some damn good 007 titles before they lost the license. But hey, I can't shit on them. Even though I shit on EA as much as I do now. Next, we got another awesome EA title, NBA Street Volume 2. TK, if we ever meet up in person and you got it on the Xbox, we gonna play it. We playing it. So we're gonna move over. My games keep falling every time I keep going doing this. Jesus. We got the sequel to Brave Fencer Musashi. What is this one called? It is called Samurai Legend Musashi. I didn't want to call it Brave Fencer Musashi 2, but unfortunately I don't have the manual with it. But soundtrack is good. It didn't really blow up like Brave Fencer Musashi did, but still an enjoyable game. Guy looks a little Sora-ish like, but yeah, you know, Musashi. You're playing Musashi as Musashi in that. I think that was like many generations Musashi you playing as. So I think the very first Musashi on the PS2 port was like his great-great-great-grandfather. God knows. So we got 2 imported games over here. We have Blood Will Tell. It's called Dororo. This is actually based off the whole blood. The thing about this right here is that this was based off of an anime, Dororo. And Blood Will Tell was brought over here to North America as something completely different. I mean, it was the same story and everything, but like you wouldn't have known that this was like based off of an anime series, so, or a manga. So, yep, I probably won't ever spend $600 on that game, on a North American title of Dororo or Blood Will Tell, but I have the original import of it, so that's okay with me. I can also play it on my modded console anytime. Over here, we have Namco versus Capcom. This is obviously not a fighting game, so if you had the expectations of this being a fighting game, you're SOL, because it's nothing but an RPG game. But it's awesome, pretty awesome to have. So if you want the best, closest you're going to get to a crossover is Street Fighter versus Tekken on Xbox 360 and PS3. So, yeah. We have the 4th Onimusha game. This is obviously not the black sheep of the family, but the one that's worth a lot of money the most. It's a standalone title, and you're playing as a whole new character in the game. Thought it was pretty good for what it was, but you know, got in there. So I've yet to play it. Honestly, I played through the first 3 Onimusha games several times. My friend actually sold me all those Onimusha games last year, along with this one in the collection. So I'm gonna try and get to that ASAP. So I know I had Devil May Cry 2 in this collection. Oh yeah, I do. Obviously, I'm gonna tell you this now. If you're playing through the Devil May Cry series, you know, the HD series collection, you do not have to play through Devil May Cry 2. Or if you have them on PS2, you do not have to play through Devil May Cry 2. If you want to play in the best order, just play Devil May Cry 3 and then play Devil May Cry 1. That's the best way to do it. So obviously, I've put that in my most hardest boss video game collection. I mean, not video game collection. My most hardest bosses I ever placed in gaming. Devil May Cry 3. So definitely, but it's worth a great title. I mean, not a great title, but it's well, it is a great title to play. But what I'm saying is that the game trolls you a lot. I think if you choose the easy mode, it automatically selects you for the hard mode, from what I've heard. But I mean, I never done that. I always chose the normal mode. One of the last good 007 titles, From Russia with Love. It has the Sean Connery. You playing the Sean Connery, James Bond in this, and this actually follows the movie pretty well. Just as good, not just as good as GoldenEye. GoldenEye is a masterpiece within itself. But anyway, next up we got Beyond Good and Evil, a very great game to play as well. Ubisoft title. I hope they actually don't do the sequel for this and just leave it the way it is. This game is a masterpiece within itself, and you can actually play it on the Xbox store. Get the HD version of it, Marketplace, and you can also get it on PS3, the PS3 store. I don't know if it's going to be re-released on the PS5 service, on the new service they got rolled out for PS4 and 5, but yeah. Anyway, we got Final Fantasy X. I got it brand new, sealed a long while back, and played through it. I would like to have the black case, but no biggie. I gave my ex the black case a long time ago, you know, as a gift. So she has it in her collection. I don't know what the hell is going on with her though, because I haven't talked to her in many years, and it doesn't matter because I'm married now. Got True Crime, Streets of LA and New York. I think LA was better than New York, honestly, but I did like the idea of New York and where they were trying to go with the game. But yeah, anyway, moving forward. Ironically, I remember a lot of people had said a lot of crazy shit about this game. Like, it was violent, it had, nudity and all that, and this and that. And I didn't really see nudity in this game. Only thing I knew you could do is play as Snoop Dogg in that little mini game. And hell, even in New York, you could play as Redman in the mini game. Red Gone Wild and stuff. I guess my mom heard so many people talking about it and saying all this stuff, and Snoop Dogg can sell drugs and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, no, he can't. It ain't that serious. It's just a game. So she never allowed me to get it, unfortunately. So that fucking sucks. But anyway, moving forward, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Good game to play, great multiplayer game. I like playing it personally on PS2 a little more than the Xbox consoles, but if you can play it 4-player, go ahead and do it on the Xbox 360 or the OG Xbox. Go ahead or get you a multi-tap. Not crazy about this game. This is way before the Disney era. This is one of the LucasArts titles, one of the last few, but very good movie game to play. I'm actually shocked this got released around the movie time, because LucasArts wasn't really basing that. They weren't really based directly off of the movies when they did them, but doing the Star Wars movies. But Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3, obviously one of the greatest ones of the series. I guess I can put these two together. This is actually one of the first Gundam titles on PS2, Journey of Jaburo. This is based off the original Mobile Suit Gundam series, anime series, or the 3 movies, however you want to put it. But glad, pretty good, easy, comprehensive game to play. It's pretty hands-on right away. So if you watch the 1979 Gundam series or the movies that they meshed it all up, you'll know. Basically what's going on. You're just playing as Amuro, and the goal is to in the Federation war with the Zeon, with the not the new Neo Zeon, but the Zeon movement. So yep. I will say though that the battles with Char Aznavour in the game are pretty fucking dreadful at times, but it's pretty good. We got Mobile Suit Gundam versus Zeta Gundam. This is basically the 1979 series versus the Zeta Gundam series. And I think the Zeta Gundam anime series is the best one of them all. It has a notoriously known for having a high def count of characters in it and being super dark. But yeah, you play as both Amuro and Camille Badan. You can also play as Char Aznavour. The multiplayer is pretty good in the game, like playing it outside of that. But if you're just playing it single player, yeah, you're mostly just going to be going through the Zeta Gundam story and the 1979 story like you did in Journey of Jaburo. But next up, we got Seven Samurai. This is like a futuristic samurai kind of game. This is way before, I think, Sammy and Sega had merged. So, pretty cool game to play. Nice time waster. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece, but it's pretty fun to play. More games falling. Oh well. Up next, we got Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3. And we got Final Fantasy X2. I still haven't beat this. I don't know why I haven't beat it, because I'm just not crazy about fucking Final Fantasy X2. I do think Pain is an awesome character, but I don't know. I never, some parts of me never could really beat this game. I just didn't understand why we got this. I used to think the commercial in the beginning intro song was pretty cool, but wasn't my forte. I just got it because it was sold in a bundle on Amazon a long time ago, because they were still selling PS2 games brand new and sealed. So on to the last 2 games. Finally, we have Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories. Pretty fun game to play. Nice prequel to Grand Theft Auto 3. So happy to have it in there. I should get Vice City Stories, even though it's going up in value. I don't know why that game is so much now, but And up next, we have one of the greatest not SmackDown, but greatest WWE games on the PlayStation 2. And we got Here Comes the Pain. You can even see it with the brand sticker. I always chose Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner because he was one of my favorite wrestlers at that time, leaving WCW and going into WWE. I loved his promos. If you have not watched the Steiner Mania videos, I recommend you check them out. But yeah, this is when Brock was Vince's boy for real. And this is like when Rock was leaving the WWE around this time to go focus on the Hollywood career. So yeah, That's pretty much it for my PS2 collection. I know this video dragged on longer than 20 minutes, so if you can actually sit down and watch the whole thing, I appreciate it. You know, you don't have to watch through, you can skim through it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully I get some more content out this week. Other than that, this is Drex, and I am out.
Ryan Little.